Hi there, it's David here, and this week we're reviewing episode 3 of season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race. This is Diva Worship is the name of the episode. And just a little disclaimer, I am not a drag performer, nor an expert on the world of drag. I'm just a fan of the show who wants to start a conversation with you other fans out there on the internet. This week we're featuring Curtain Man, who's gonna be helping out from the sidelines. So I know for some of you deep cut fans, that is a nice little callback.
I came to fight, then we make friends.
Truly. I've got to say, off the bat, this was like the best episode this season so far for sure, and it's the best episode of Drag Race I've seen in a while. We continue the trend of mini challenges having an actual appearance and weight on this season, and I thought that this concept was really creative. So the queens have to like get into this club, they create characters, and they're being evaluated on their skills of persuasion. The concert is Seduction, the group that Michelle used to be in, and I like that none of the queens can name any of those songs, The Subtle Shade. Most of the queens did pretty well with this, both with the quick drag, the characterization, but Nina clearly was the standout just in terms of creativity. And what else happened?
What's her face? Showed her tits as usual.
Oh yeah, Miss Silky.
Silky.
Alto Silky busts down the door. The entire she like rammed into the set and almost made it fall over. But I did think that Honey, there might be some bias here, but I thought that Honey's twerking, that whole character was a different side of her we haven't seen before. Kiria had some funny moments as well, but overall Nina was definitely the deserved winner. Raja, I think, and this will continue a trend in the later half of the episode, I think Raja's win was more so just to kindle the fire of drama in this episode. Overall, as far as acting challenges go, I appreciate these live televised events. It's like not totally improvised on stage with no production value, but it's not heavily scripted and edited to the point you can't really tell who's doing well and who's not. So I think this is a good happy middle, and I appreciate these live televised segments. Thinking back to like the talk style interview that they had on season 9. What's her name? Who's the one who didn't lip sync?
Charlie Hides?
Yes. This brings me back to when Charlie Hides cut to commercial early and it was awkward. Just like the live televised nature of it really lends to the dramatic tension. Nina's group selects Britney Spears after a little bit of back and forth between her and Whitney. Raja's group chooses Mariah Carey after they realize that none of them know anything about Mariah Carey. And shame on them, like the fact that not one of them understood any aspect of Mariah Carey as a celebrity or performer is shameful. But also, like, why would you go with somebody who none of you knew anything about? The theory was that like each of them would hold a different piece of the key, and together they would, and it's like, no, they didn't, none of them knew anything about her. Ru clocks this and they don't adjust, but I made a little list of the things that they got wrong. So Emotional, a Whitney Houston song, is brought up, which was lip-synced by Sasha Velour last season, or 2 seasons ago. So even if you don't know who either of these people is, like it was there on the lower third at the finale, can we not do research? Emotions is the song. It is a very successful single. The name of their program, When You Believe, not a Mariah Carey song. From the Prince of Egypt by Stephen Schwartz, duet between her and Whitney Houston, and that's a cover of the version in the movie. Wrong. Morocco and Monroe, for the names of her kids, not correct. Morocco and Monroe. If you went to her concert and you saw them sing behind her during the star performance, you would know. Number 4, Glitter was titled Sparkle in this edition. They refer to it as Glitter later on. I think there was a discrepancy there. Sparkle.
Justice for Sparkle.
Justice for Sparkle. The musical number, I will acknowledge they did try. They tried to put some references to different song titles, which they also got wrong for part of this. They say glitter will make it through anything. I assume this was trying to be a Through the Rain reference because it then is followed by other songs, but like she just forgot the name of the song and then covered with anything. Love Do Take Time, Love Takes Time. Music Boxer, maybe this was a play on Music Box, like they were just trying to be funny with it, but the name of the album is Music Box, album number 3, 1993, transition into pop. Timmy Mottola. That's not even something that's unique to Mariah Carey. Tommy Mottola is a very well-known Sony producer. They were told to like select a foundation they were donating to. They choose a foundation that's not even related to Mariah Carey. It's Ariana's One Last Time Foundation. There's this whole Ariana Grande thing, which, by the way, the whole Ariana-Mariah rivalry that has been concocted in the last 5 years it just pales in comparison to the much more authentic J-Lo and Mariah why were these converts not J-Lo fans? They could have done a whole segment where they do know her and then they are converted to no longer know her and then they say, I don't know her. I mean, come on, guys, this is not a reach. It wouldn't have taken much to do better, but the contrast could not have been more polar. I think that this group that did Britney, Nina got it together, and this was one of the most successful acting challenges I think I've seen yet. Before I get to the positive, we've got to have some little nitpicks. The way that they were confronting Mercedes about her religion, to explain, and then later on the character they make her play, all of this is not a good look. Essentially, if she doesn't want to talk about her religion, she doesn't have to. Second, if somebody's not going to give you their information, guessing and saying that they're praying in a mausoleum and all, it was just like very textbook insensitive. I was not into that in any way. Jumping to, all right, you're gonna like play this foreign African stereotype and like be tribal and this line about Spears or whatever. She didn't deliver it well, and the reason was because it was fed to her by these other people. She clearly wasn't comfortable with it, and it's just, everything about Mercedes' involvement in this challenge made me very uncomfortable and upset. But that aside, I would say that was like the one sore point of the group's approach. I think Nina did a great job wrangling everybody. She did a great job hosting throughout the whole segment, keeping up the pace. There was a good amount of Britney references, but it was also its own self-contained sort of segment. Because ultimately, I think this challenge was less about knowing a ton of references and trivia about the diva, and more so about just like doing a good parody of a televangelist.
Thank you, Miss Dan.
She thanks herself, and she knows how to pin that wig down. That was not flying off of her head at any moment. I do think that Nina deserved the win for this, because although Miss Vanjie really brought that fire, Nina clearly did a great job of just like finding roles that suited everybody, reining everybody in. The music segment, I will say, in favor of the other group, was like half as long as the other, and it had a lot of repeated lines. So that was their choice, so they strategized properly, unless the editors just like removed a bunch of bad parts in order to paint the picture more clearly. But the group appeared very well on TV, and that's all we can ask for. So then we get to the runway. Theme is everyone's favorite color. Say it. French! Willem is impacting the show and still will never be invited back for All Stars. I didn't really speak to it on last week's review, but Ru looked the best she's ever looked in a long time last week. The color of the hair, the makeup, everything was like classic, like season 4 Ru. This is back to like helmet hair. The dress is not great. It just seems to be sort of a passable Ru week.
She's giving you St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I guess.
She's giving you shamrock titty. Oh, I can't say titty on your channel.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay. Breastises. All right.
That is the proper term. So first up was Honey Davenport. I feel like if the group challenge hasn't been as it was, this would have been acknowledged as like one of the better runways. I don't think it was the best, but she clearly had impact and there was thought behind it and it looked very clean and put together. The makeup gives me a little bit of Vivacious. Like the makeup, the headpiece, I'm getting, but that may just be because like anytime a queen has one of these, I think of Vivacious. Her impact is everlasting. When is she gonna be on an All Stars? Get Vivacious back on TV, please. Thank you. Next we have Scarlet Envy. I thought that this was kind of boring, sorry. It's fine, like it's very put together, it's very clean, but once again, like she's wearing a light, washed out outfit, and I'm starting to get a little bored of her aesthetic in general.
You just don't like Scarlet. Exposed.
I don't dislike her. I was into her looks the past 2 weeks. I defended her to Foster too.
Alright.
I just think it's passable. And when you have a look like the next from Sugar Cane, who totally, I think this is my favorite look on the runway this week. I mean, there's a beautiful reveal. She's using feathers and beaded fringe. It's a great take on this look. It's almost an evolution of the turquoise that Alexis Michelle was booted for, but actually a representation of her culture instead of being assigned as one of the village people, which was problematic as hell. But this is not about that season. This is about Sugar Cane killing it. The makeup is on point. The performance of the look is on point. The jewelry, everything. It's just This is my top toot for this week. I would have loved to have a strappy boot. Maybe that's too on the nose for the character, and like that's just me projecting my idea of what this is. But like, just a good strappy gladiator kind of a boot would have really brought it together, because it's just so much on top, and then the heel is like this light pink kind of regular heel, and it doesn't really take me to that elevated place like the look overall does. Next we have Plastique Tiara. This is similar to Scarlet, just kind of bland for me. I think that honestly, even though it's less than Scarlet, it's probably less expensive and less material or whatever, I felt like it was more clean and aesthetically pleasing. Maybe it's also just because like Plastique is so gorgeous. The shoes make sense with the outfit.
It's Payless.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Payless, by the way.
Truly, drag queens are weeping everywhere. Next up we have Kiria, who is objectively probably the best on the runway this week. I don't know, we'll revisit. But Kiria really brought it for this week. The headpiece is apparently made by her, not some designer. Diego isn't chipping in on this one. And that's what drag's all about. This looks so ornate, expensive, royal, timeless, and such a good take on fringe for it to be this, you know, dripping in gold headpiece moment. The look overall does have a lot of weight to it, and I think that the bottom half of it with the like tiered fringe could have had, instead of the black fabric between them, maybe like a nude illusion where it maybe looked like those gold fringe aspects were more like floating. I think the black kind of weighed it down, especially because there were so many layers of fringe. But that's merely a matter of taste, and this is very much an accomplishment on the runway, especially considering she made it herself. A great take on the challenge, 10 out of 10. Next up we have Raja, boot for this. Not even because it's messy, but just because it's too basic. Like, what the judges said, I think Michelle said, like you could see that in any club. Also the hair being this weird sort of like auburn.
No.
What color is this? I don't know the names of colors. It's not red. It's not the same red as the outfit.
I'd say burgundy.
Burgundy?
Maroon, yeah.
Clearly she's kind of just pulling together what she's got. So Nina's next, and she's got one of my favorite looks this week. She literally looks like a car wash mop, which, you know, if you're gonna do fringe, you may as well go for the draggiest take on it. It's comedic, but it's also cohesive. Okay, the shoe, I understand. It's not a great shoe. He's zooming up on the shoe. But I'm trying to say what I like about it first. The headpiece is amazing. The movement to it, the way that she performs it, she's spinning around. I will say Nina's not great at like stopping on the runway and posing, but for this look, you need to be constantly in motion, so it really lends itself to the way that she approaches the runway. I think this is a very in-character take on the challenge. I guess the boots are not necessarily the best shoe for this. They could have had some rhinestones.
Look at that square, chunky heel.
She's able to move in it. It's fine.
Yeah,
if she had just like some fringe on there to move about, maybe she would have tripped if that were the case, but it might have heightened. Or like if you had a boot where the fringe is on like the calf part of it, then it just could have heightened the entire movement of the outfit. Brooklyn Heights was next. This is the first time I think on the runway she has brought something that's a little bit less than perfect. This is a daisy hippie moment, and especially the bottom half of it really thins out, and it doesn't give me fringe really at all. I guess technically like strips of something. I don't know what the formal definition is of fringe, but this doesn't give me the feeling of fringe. It's like a hippy-dippy sort of flower dress moment. If she wanted it to read as fringe, maybe like getting 4 times as many of the daisies going down the dress would have been ideal. The makeup is also, in my opinion, a little too heavy for what aesthetic she was trying to go for. If she really wanted to do the hippy-dippy thing, then a more natural look, a less intense rouge may have been advisable. Also the like really heavy dark lid, it's too severe for this aesthetic. So Miss Vanjie's look on the runway this week, we've had 2 like 10 out of 10s in a row, and once again, this is the first time I'm seeing one of these like true consistent players really underdeliver on this week's runway. Red is definitely her color. The hair is amazing. but like, do we expect any less? It's human, it's long, it's laid, it's great. But the fringe dress is a little short, both in length and short on the amount of fringe that's on it. There's this like nude illusion that is not fitting correctly. It's not really the right color. And ultimately, maybe that would have passed if there was more fringe on the dress, but it's really only giving me like a balding fringe dress. Like it's very patchy.
I think you're hater, Aisha. She's giving me Sábado Gigante.
No.
She's giving me, yes, she's giving me Sábado Gigante, she's giving me like old school Thalia, she's got fringe on the shoe. I agree that the new Delusion is not the right color, but aside from that.
I like the way she styled it. I like the earrings, I like the nails, the like extra long red nails. I just think,
I know this girl, I've seen her, that's the thing. It's convincing because I know this girl. We've met her.
I guess, but the point of drag is not for an ordinary old girl to be up on that stage.
She's giving you
it has to be heightened. It has to be larger
We know
than
this
life.
entertainer. She's giving you Latina entertainer fish. And Valentina's not the only one.
Okay.
First of all.
All right.
All right.
There's something about this dress that makes her look really short too. Like I know Miss Vanjie is like itty bitty, but if you think back to like week 1, that dress really elongated her, and this makes her look itty bitty. That hair is like more than half her height.
Look at that pencil stiletto. Mariah would be proud.
The ankle strap is real. All right, next, Miss Evie. Miss Evie Oddly. So this was the stunt of the week. She is painting herself pink naked in the workroom beforehand, and everybody is gaping and gagging. Not sure that she needed to paint everywhere that she painted. It may have been like last minute production where she really wanted to go out naked. People have walked the runway with a lot of stuff showing that they would blur out. Maybe production had her put some last minute tendrils over that part of her body because they just want to continue to censor more and more of this show. But that's neither here nor there. The impact was real. The camera angles, good job to the production team on that one, because especially the rotating crane shot, you really get a sense of wonder as she brings the umbrella up and shows this magnificent jellyfish in the aquarium colored runway stage. I love this. I think it's creative. The heels are ridiculous. They're these giant platforms. It's giving me a legitimate concept. It's otherworldly. It's a really unique take on fringe. This is, I think, by far and away the best look of the week, even if Suga's is like my personal favorite. This is, I mean, how can you argue with something like this? I think that, again, this, like last week, in years to come will be one of the looks we remember her for. Yeah, she may be the one to beat. It's only 3 weeks in though. There's a lot of room for other people to show. So Mercedes is next. This is a boot. This is giving me like Chi Chi DeVayne, cheerleading routine, green. And it's just not, no. She has a like lampshade hat moment. The fringe is cut in the front kind of messily. It's not, the boots are clearly just, it's kind of like pick and choose, put it all together. Again, like not a great look from Mercedes. The runway is not treating her well. So I'm sorry, girl. I hope that you can step it up and you have some good looks in store. Ariel Versace is next with paillettes and not fringe. I don't care if she looks great. She's doing a mermaid moment. She has her, you know, big poofy pink wig, and those boots are cute, even though they're the same basic boots. The, you know, holographic glitter on them is great, but those are not fringe. The paillettes are not fringe. When I saw this, I said, where is it? Where is the fringe? I guess if these don't count as fringe, then the daisies don't either. Because like this is like
the daisies were at least on like a long thread of something.
There are little threads at the bottom.
It's 3 paillettes total. What? Let's see, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 paillettes. Do 4 paillettes make a fringe?
No, they do not. I like the color coordination in the eye makeup and then like the highlight with the paillettes. So I mean, she clearly knows how to do a makeup aesthetic to match the look, but even if it's cohesive, this is really not fulfilling the challenge. Silky Nutmeg Ganache. This is giving me Party City streamers. It's giving me a shoe that doesn't match. And once again, tribute to Payless. They really have contributed so much to the world and culture of drag, and we're going to miss them. But for this look, the shoe didn't contribute much. I guess the performance of it, her little like step ball change thing down the runway was great. And the makeup is like a little David Bowie reference. I don't know. No, not for me. So that's it for the runway. We get to judging. Ross is speaking more and more. Was he promoted? Is he replacing Michelle? Is his agent getting more aggressive? I don't know, but for the first time, I think that Ross is really contributing meaningful insights, and I'm liking him more and more, and I was never really a Ross fan. Also, why is Scarlett like T-posing during the critiques?
It's a power stance.
Is she just trying to intimidate the judges? Is that the thing? Or is she trying to make sure the fringe doesn't get tangled? Is she trying to display the nail fringe? I don't know, but it was overall just video game developer mode. It was giving me outside of the boundaries exploration. The bottom group, they are all lip syncing, all 6 of them. They're all bottoms. For once, the gag actually matched up with how poorly the team did in the challenge, so I wasn't mad about it. Sure, Suga and Kiria maybe shouldn't have had to lip sync because of their looks, but like they weren't gonna get out. It was a mess as expected. It was a lot of Plastique whipping her hair around. It was a lot of Raja walking in front of everybody and stealing as much focus as she could.
What do you think the light bulb budget is like?
The light bulb budget for the, for the edge of the stage?
Yeah.
How many have there been broken? Somebody leave a comment if you've counted. Robbie Turner rollerblade moment. Where I think Eureka broke one of them at some point. Somebody comment the number of balls that have broken. We were looking to you, Nancy Drew. Raja should have left this week, is my take. If it hadn't been for the lip sync, and if Honey hadn't jumped off the stage and kind of not knowing what she was doing, then Raja would have gone home just on the basis of like the runway and the challenge, her being the team leader. But she brings the drama, and Honey was given a very harsh edit. Even if you watch like her going home on the episode, her going home on Untucked, they don't read through letters. She doesn't show any looks. Clearly the production team, the story producers weren't really interested in what she had to offer because she's just, you know, a generally good, humble, and honest person, and that doesn't make good reality TV. But she will remain one of my favorites. If you look at her Whatcha Packin', she had some amazing outfits, and I hope that she goes on to have a wonderful, rewarding career, and that we see her on All Stars. I love everything that she has to contribute to the world of this show. It's sad that she had to go. There was a lot of content between like a great challenge, a good mini challenge, a 6-way lip sync, some drama on Untucked, which is polarizing the fans, let me tell you. I'm not on Silky's side for most things, but I feel like Evie escalated the situation sort of out of nowhere. Obviously, there's editing involved.
And then she pulled the whole bullshit about Whitney being a woman of God. She was like, I don't praise false idols. And then someone was like, well, you wanted to do Whitney. Well, because Whitney's a woman of God.
They were leveraging that she threw Nina under the bus, which, I mean, Rue asked if it was unanimous and she just said no. From the clip that they showed, it didn't seem. Maybe there was something we didn't see. Maybe it was a little of both. Maybe she wanted to do Whitney and she was mad about Britney, but it was also her misunderstanding the challenge or whatever. It doesn't matter. If she wants to lie and bullshit, let her do that. I don't think that it was worth picking a fight with her like Evie did, and there needs to be more choosing battles, because Evie came off kind of self-righteous in this moment, in my opinion. I would love to hear your take on all of this. Did you enjoy this week as much as I did? I just feel like it was really fun-filled, action-packed. Let me know your favorites for this week, your favorites to win the crown, and if you have a disagreement with Honey being booted, definitely defend her as well. I will appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. All right, bye.